Hello, everyone, and welcome to this little corner of the world. I'm daily reporting almost live from Snowy Tops, Norway, and I'm here with a special guest. Something that I've been anticipating for a long time and wanting to do. We have Green Eye Devil for a little interview. Say hello.
Hello.
Yes, and we also have Fuzz joining me as my co-host.
Hey,
Yes, we three here are sitting here late at night. Well, for me and Fuss at least, in time zones consideration. We're gonna have few lines of conversation talking about GED and the 10-year anniversary of TWC, and we are gonna celebrate it in our own little manner. Now, GED, you are, well, as people know, you are the man with the plan, the chief, the Indian chief of TWC. You are a known person, so to say. So we're gonna break off with a lot of questions to you, and I hope you're fine with that.
I'm fine with anything you want to ask.
Hey, awesome. Um, so you have, well, the green eye. That's something first thing I'm gonna talk about is the green eye. You have a green eye as avatar. Is there any specific reason why you chose that? Or
Yeah, actually, that comes from a book written by James Clavell. The name of the book is Taipan, and the main character in that book is called the Old Green-Eyed Rat Devil by the Chinese people. So I took that name and shortened it, and when I created this name back in, well, this is going to tell you how old I am. Back in the late 80s, there was a character limit of 11 characters for bulletin board names. So I had to shorten it to that, and that's what I've been ever since.
so who is the man then behind the mysterious green eye? We know why you have the green eye, but who's the man behind it?
Uh, I would just say I'm just a normal guy with a few maybe extra skill sets that helps me run this site. Obviously, I've not owned it for 10 years. I bought it from Garb when he decided that he didn't want to be managing it anymore, and basically, I agreed to purchase the site so that the site would continue indefinitely. We now have some new resources in place, and we've grown from renting our own server to being hosted off 4 different servers. A dedicated database server, a dedicated web server, a dedicated backup server, and then some stuff that we are doing with Minecraft. But the main reason that I became the owner of the site is so that it would not go away, that it would always be here.
Wow.
well, I'm guessing that you came to the site with prior knowledge of how to run it. I'm guessing that you did not, learn on the go. What other things have you worked on before that made you particularly suited for this task?
Well, I actually have a bachelor's degree in networking. Now, mostly what I deal in my professional life is Windows servers. And so several years ago, when I joined Total War Center, they were actually doing some upgrades to the server. We rented a server at that time. So I got involved on the technical side because I do have some technical knowledge with networking. Now, that doesn't prepare you for a site as large as Total War Center. So yeah, there's been a lot of on-the-fly learning with Linux administration of a site this big.
Just as an aside, as a person who's also learning about networking, what was it about networking that interested you? Just as a quick aside, if you don't mind.
No, actually, I don't mind. My interest is more on the programming side. I have an associate's degree in programming and a bachelor's degree in networking. So programming was my first thing. I actually wrote my first program when I was 11 years old. My father was a police officer, and they used to, back in the 70s, and again, I'm telling you how old I am. Back in the 70s, when you did accident investigations for car crashes and you were using these formulas to try and figure out how fast cars were going when they impacted another car and all this stuff. He had all these formulas that he had to do, and I had an old TRS Model 80 at the time. Um, and I put all those formulas into a DOS program, and actually uh, that helped him do his job. And the high point of that is when I was 12 years old, I had to actually go testify in court about how my program was built because a defense attorney trying to defend his client wanted to prove the math faulty. So
Wow.
yeah, it's been kind of a wild road. So I got into my teens and did what every teenage male does, goes crazy with girls and everything else, and got away from computers as a hobby. And then when I finally came back, it was a business environment. Windows Server had not even been created yet, but there were people using Windows, like Windows 3 or 3.1, that needed to be able to communicate intra-office, and that's when I got into networking.
Cool.
I think I love the TRS-80. I think that's my favorite part of the story.
I still have that machine, by the way. It has a whopping 32K of RAM.
32K.
Yeah, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Now we're gonna move into TWC and Total War Center. We're gonna have the entire story now, because I think I've heard this before that you told me this, but I want to hear it and I want you to tell it to just people listening right now. What was you joined TWC? How did you join TWC? And what was your first foray into the modern world of TWC, so to say?
Okay, at the time, I actually owned some coin-operated video game stores where, and you guys are probably too young to have ever seen one, but where you actually put a quarter in a video game and play it. This is before Xbox consoles and all of that kind of stuff, before the console games became really big. And as part of that operation, we had 12 machines that were networked for LAN gaming within the building. And so we had a customer that requested that I buy Rome Total War, the original Rome Total War. And this is in 2004, 2005 about. And so I bought it. I actually bought 12 copies of it, and we were letting people play that in the arcades. And somebody else mentioned to me that there were some mods for this game that made it a lot better to play. So I came on and checked it out. And I actually joined the site so I could get the archers for the Carthage, for the faction of Carthage in Rome Total War. For whatever reason, Carthage did not have archers in the vanilla game, so that's why I joined, was to get that.
I remember that.
Just to get archers for Carthage. And I actually started looking at some of the other stuff that was being done and started doing some scripting. So that was in January, February 2006, something like that.
Wow. Now I feel really young. No offense to you, GED, but god damn, I wish I was back then, man. It'd be great. Oh wow. Fuzz, you want to kick it off?
Are there any major things, like you've already done the upgrade to VB5, but would there be anything you would like to see done, even if it's in the distant, like in the far off future? Would there anything you'd like to implement?
Well, the first thing I'm going to correct you on is we did not upgrade to VB5. We upgraded to VB4, and that has...
Damn it, Daily! Yeah, right.
Typo in the script. Sorry, Fuzz.
And that process is actually not quite going the way it's planned. I think everybody knows that the site has not been exactly user-friendly in the last few days, although today I did make quite a few changes that I'm hoping will correct that. So obviously the first goal is stability, and that's actually one of the reasons for splitting the servers. You probably don't know that Total War Center has mainly been hosted off of one server that ran both the database and the web server, and then we have a backup server. Well, I took those two servers and kind of split the roles up. So one is a dedicated database server, and one is now a dedicated web server. And when we get through this VB4 upgrade and everything is going as it should be and running the way I want it to, then I don't have any major plans for probably the next year. Certainly not as far as hardware goes. If you're talking about site restructuring, I think I want to spend some more time focusing with Poach on the gaming staff. Gaming staff is new within the last 6 months. This is a gaming site, and for years we have been dedicated to the modification of these games, but what we haven't focused on is lots of multiplayer interaction. and doing ladders and tournaments. And so Total War Center is a pretty tight-knit community, and what I want to do is take that community and get them into a more structured gaming atmosphere. A lot of people do a lot of informal stuff. We had an informal Minecraft center, or informal Minecraft server, that I actually I said, okay, Minecraft is a new game, so I built the dedicated Minecraft server, and eventually that spun off into MinecraftCenter.net. I want to take some other games and do. I mean, maybe not spin them off into other sites and do stuff like that, but I definitely want more gaming interaction between our members. I think that's what people come here for, and I think that'd be fun for everybody.
Are you gonna do something like the Arma 2 clan with the Happy Fun Time platoon? Like trying to create that is something that created before the game stuff, but is it like trying to create a community that is that close knitted as something as that?
Yeah, and I don't play Arma 2, so you have to forgive me on that.
Neither do I, but I've seen, this is something that I've seen, is that those guys, they make custom maps, they do a lot of stuff together, and it seems like that community in itself, in my opinion, should be actually expanded a little bit more, because, you know, advertising that should be prioritized.
So yeah, and we've started the clan system on Total War Center, and that's actually a kind of a work in progress. And it's actually a big learning curve for us, because trying to manage clans on a scale this big, this is not one person trying to run one clan. This is one site trying to run 50 clans, or give the resources to 50 clans so that they can run themselves. And so there'll be a lot of changes on how that, and I can't even tell you what those changes are, because it's learn as we go kind of thing. But yes, I would like to see more clan stuff going on Total War Center.
Yeah, me too. I'm actually thinking about, now that Age of Empires 2 is getting a HD redone, I really want to do something like that, community stuff like that, because I love Age of Empires 2. But is there something that you see? Now, I'm not talking about just gaming clans, but I'm talking like the site itself with features and all that. Is there something that you see that you cannot do? Is there any restrictions that you've already set yourself, or is sky's the limit?
The sky's the limit, depending on how things have to be coded. Now, one of the reasons that we delayed the upgrade from VB3 to VB4 is that our VB3 installation has been so heavily customized that trying to get all of that to work on a new platform has really been a challenge. So if there are some structural things that we can do to add features to Total War Center that don't require lots and lots of custom code, then we would certainly take a look at that. But at this point, what I don't want to do is recode entire sections of the site.
Now, a quick question. Have you ever patronized somebody?
No, I have not.
Why not?
Oh, there's a lot of reasons why not. Why not now, or why not in the past?
I think, well, now it's more like you're the site owner and people can be swayed because you're the site owner, but I'm thinking more in the past.
Okay, what you'd be right about that, and actually it goes a lot deeper than patronization when it comes to being the site owner. There's actually a lot of conversations I don't get involved in because my mere presence in that thread can influence it. But the reason I haven't patronized in the past is that I don't feel that the Curia as a body has lived up to its potential. And you could even partially say that that's my fault, because of myself as a Curia member have not tried to spur the change in there. But the culture in that body is so ingrained that it's going to take a lot of time and a lot of effort to get people to change their mindset about what the Curia can actually be, as opposed to what it is now. And I actually think that it has the potential to be something really good for the site, but that they rarely, as a group, gather that much interest to do it. Now, as individual Curial members, some of them are the best people on the site. They just don't get organized as a group, and I don't know how to change that at this point. So.
Yeah, me neither. I'm in the CDEC, so well, I just got elected. It's my first term, so I finally got into it, and that's something I've seen is that I have not. I think that I received the citizenship a little bit too, not easily, but myself as a person did not really like accept it. The only thing that I really really appreciated was the novice. Like the novice really, really but the citizenship didn't really put me. I didn't really feel like the elite as it's supposed to be. But
Okay,
yeah.
see, and I'm actually kind of I don't care about the medals. I mean, the medals are something unique to Total War Center. We actually do a lot more of that than most other websites do, but I have never ever done anything on this site with a medal or any of that visible stuff in mind. That's just not my thing. I don't do it.
Yeah, that's same as me. But something I realized later is that I think it's a kind of like I did not care so much about the views when I started to work as. I did not really care about the banners and all that. But I think it's a little nice touch, so to say.
It is something nice to give people because obviously Total War Center does not make millions and millions of dollars or even thousands and thousands of dollars, so that
Well,
we can pay people that
are you
spend their time in doing
sure
stuff for the
about
site.
that, Ged? Are you keeping something from us? Are you making millions and millions of dollars off of DWC
Yes,
without
yes,
telling us?
I'm making millions of dollars off your work. So thank you.
I'm just joking.
No, I have to get my little sweatshop going. I don't know if you remember that thread, but Green Eyed Devil's sweatshop. You might have to go look that up.
I probably have to now.
Well, Daily, seeing so you don't want your citizenship, I'll gladly take it off your hands if it's too much of a burden.
Oh, give it a couple of weeks, Fuzz. If you participate in Warcast, I'll patronize you myself. But we won't speak about that now because people will probably grab you. People are vultures in this world, man. But I think the next question is yours, Fuzz. You want to take it away?
Okay. Anyway, I've heard that you're very active in the whole tribunal side of TWC, and you even have a judge's gavel. Now, if that's true, because I've already gotten one thing wrong on this interview, what was it about the tribunal that drew your interest?
Actually, I'm not active in the tribunal anymore.
God damn it, Daily, that's it. I'm gone.
But I have been very active in the tribunal in the past, and that was not something I was looking to do. That was something I was asked to do. The guy that owned the site or that bought the site right after I joined was Ian, IMB39. And Ian had the unenviable task of trying to put this community back together after the whole thing with OgreNet and the heavy-handed moderation that came down. And there was a pretty good schism between certain groups of people on this site. And I had not actually been involved in the political side of Total War Center at all. All I was doing was modding, but because of a thread that Ian and I were in the political mud pit. It was nothing about the site. We were just participating in a thread. But what came out of that is that he and I started sending a lot of PMs back and forth. And that actually worked into the point of him asking me to serve on the tribunal. And when I did that, I accepted that. And then the other tribune at the time was Garber Sarter, who was actually the next person to own the site. He's the one that bought it from Ian. But Garb and I made a fundamental change in the way the tribunal works, which is why we now have magistrates and one of those, elected magistrates, and changing the entire process of appealing when you actually do something that gets you in trouble on Total War Center. And that's actually something that is very unique to Total War Center. Most sites just flat out ban you if you cross over the line that's drawn in the sand, and we try not to do that. We are very strict about our standards. We have high standards for posting on Total War Center, and if you violate those high standards that we have, our goal is not to ban you. Our goal is to convince you, either through the infraction process or the discussion process or any number of other interactions, that we don't want you to go away. We want you to become what we consider to be a productive member of the site. And so you need to change. If you are one of these problem posters, we want you to change your mindset about what Total War Center is and about how Total War Center should operate and become a productive member of the site.
Yeah, and it's not actually major changes, to be honest.
Way too discredited work there, Daily.
No. But it's not like you. They. What can I say? It's just
I'm kidding
basic.
you.
Yeah, I know. It's just basic common sense and basic common behavior that is being cracked down upon, as we
That's
see.
that's what we're looking for. Look, nobody wants to be insulted every time they turn around, and we certainly don't want what you see on every other website in the world, or almost every other website in the world, of general douchebaggery behavior that I believe turns people off. And that kind of stuff is never going to work on Total War Center. It's never been allowed on Total War Center even before I joined the site. So that part of it hasn't changed, and probably never will.
Oh, okay. Well, even from that, you've certainly done a lot in the past for the Tribunal, but did you at least enjoy it? Even though you can make great changes, you might not enjoy something, but did you enjoy your time on the Tribunal?
For the most part, and I don't know that you necessarily say that you enjoy it, but what you enjoy is the fact that this site does do something different, and that it turns into, you see a person, and we're not going to get into any names, but you see a person who goes from a borderline person of whether or not we want this person to be on Total War Center, and within a couple of years that person has turned into somebody who is producing modifications for games that other people are downloading in the thousands. So yeah, that part of it's certainly enjoyable.
Okay.
I'm gonna move into something a little bit negative. Well, not negative, but a little bit funny to me. I thought it was funny. The April Fool's event in 2012.
That was great.
Do you mind?
I don't mind at all.
Okay. Well, let me just. I was just. I think in April 2012, I'd been barely in content at all. I wasn't content director or anything, and I was like, when this came up, it was like, and I heard about the entire thing. I was like, oh my god, how can it go wrong on so many levels? So do you regret it, or are you happy how it went?
Not one bit do I regret that. I I understand that some people got a little bent and a little freaked out, but I will say that the reason that they got a little bent and a little freaked out is because Total War Center is a pretty tight-knit community. We have thousands and thousands of members, but every one of those members, or 99% of those members, truly care about Total War Center because they enjoy it. And so this little idea between me and one other person, um, where I was coming down on him for his supposed misdeeds, and then everybody else, what I didn't expect is that everybody else would pick up on it, and join in on the game, which actually made it seem a lot worse than I ever intended. When I had people start posting in the Tribunal that, oh, that goddamn green-eyed devil banned me for this and that, and this person was not in on the joke, but this person realized what the joke was. And so when you have 5 or 6 people that do that, and then yeah, the entire site pretty much freaked out, and I laughed right up right up until we posted the fact that it was all a joke, and I still laugh about it now. And if you can't laugh about it after a year's time has passed, then maybe you need to reevaluate your sense of humor.
I mean, I died laughing after. Of course, I was a little bit skeptical at first. Like, what is this? And I did not know the running stuff. I didn't even know you were the owner of the site almost before like that. It's like, who is this guy? And it's like, okay, he's made a couple of people angry and probably doing some kind of Gestapo thing right here. And then like, oh, it's all April Fool's joke. Oh, how could you get it more wrong? But it was a very fun joke, I have to say.
Well,
But
I guess I'm going to put it this way, so I'm here for my entertainment, not yours, and I was entertained.
yeah, I was entertained as well. I laughed my, yeah, I'm not gonna say ass, but I will ass off. It was fun, a lot of fun.
Yes, it was quite funny. So now, if you're going to ask what the next April Fool's thing is, you might as well just know right now that I'm not going to tell you. So
Are you gonna have a? Oh, right, you're gonna have a April Fools. Okay.
I didn't say that. I just
Oh,
said I'm
you
not going to
just
talk
blew your
about it.
cover, Ged. Oh, not good. Hey, Fuzz, we gotta keep out for Ged, man. He's a crafty bastard.
Yeah, well, right after you post this, I'm going to fire you. So
Oh, you don't know the uproar. I hope it's an uproar. If not, I'm gonna be disappointed like nobody. Where did they, like a half year from now, one guy just said, "Hey, where did Daly go?" It's like I haven't seen him for a while. Well, okay. The next one is actually it's a kind of it was a proposition put out in the Curia. I'm gonna ask you. It's the romper. I think it's a pumper room. I think it was called
The romper room.
romper room. Now,
Not being an American, you probably don't understand where that came from.
can you explain it?
There used to be, back when I was a child, a television program called Romper Room, where there was a bunch of toddlers and preschoolers running around, and it was a general disaster that toddlers and preschoolers make. So that's where
Wow.
the name came from.
And what was the idea of the romper room on TWC?
Oh, that was just another one of my little not so serious proposals, and that was actually me. That was my way of venting my frustrations over the site upgrade. That's all that was.
Yeah, because there was a lot of negativity and people not understanding that this kind of upgrade takes a lot of time and getting out all the knots and all that.
Well, not only that, but you don't even see. I mean, I get anywhere between 10 and 30 private messages a day, and there for a few days I was getting 40 or 50. So, yeah, it's and you guys don't see all that, and I'm not going to expose you to all that. But yes, there were some people that I was very frustrated with. So instead of me actually doing the Gestapo thing, like everybody always assumes that we're going to do, that was my attempt at levity to bring a little humor into the situation and move past it. That's
Huh.
all that was.
No, I understood that in the tone of your text, so to say, when you proposed it. First, you want to take the final official question?
Can't believe we've made it this far. Holy crap. Anyway, now I've kind of harped on this earlier on, but it's an appropriate closing question. So anyway, but do you have any like personal aims for TWC? Is there anything you want to see TWC achieve in say the next 5 to 10 years? Maybe I don't know. Like, is there anything personally that would make you feel satisfied with all the work you've done? That if TWC was to achieve this one thing, you could say my work was for something. I don't know.
Did you just offer me $1 million for Total War Center?
Perhaps.
Is that what I just heard? No. Um, in terms of specific goals, are you asking like number of users or posts or something like that?
It's it's basically, is there anything personal that you have, like nothing that's not even statistic wise? It could be like anything. I have no idea, but that you would like to see TWC achieve in the next 5 to 10 years, maybe
I
something that gives
not something long term like that. What I want to see is that we have more and more. Obviously, I want to see the membership grow, and I want to see the numbers grow, which is why I have started doing the quarterly site statistics. Which, by the way, here's a little heads up. They're going to be a little off this quarter, but in terms of specific goals, that not so much that. I just want to see Total War Center be successful, and so now I need to define what successful is, and the first thing is that Total War Center can pay its own bills. Um, when we're spending $800 a month for bandwidth, that's a serious concern.
Are we paying
Um,
our own bills?
yes, we are.
Okay, good. Thank God. Whew.
We do pay our own bills, and generally in most months there is a couple $100 left over. And what I do is put that in a pool. And so when we need hardware upgrades, I've got that money. I don't have to take it out of my pocket. So the first thing is that I want Total War Center to be able to pay for itself long term. So that's why we actually own our servers instead of renting them. And that's why we now have multiple servers. So in case if we have catastrophic failure, we can recover from that. So now once Total War Center is able to pay its own bills, what I want to see is activity. So I want to see stuff coming in from other games, which is why we've expanded the other games section. We now have Slytherin, who is another developer who's been posting and donating some stuff on the site.
That was an awesome inclusion.
Yes, and that forum hasn't been as active as I had hoped it would be, but it's certainly got its own little niche market, and I think it will continue to grow. And so I want to do stuff like that with other games. I want Total War Center to be the place to go when you want to play a mod for one of the hot games that's out there. I want Total War Center to be the place you go to not only get that mod, but to make your own mod. And we do something with mods that is completely different from every other site in the world. We give entire dedicated sub forums. Most places give you one single thread, and if you post about it outside that thread, they close it. And the reason that those sites do that is because managing a site that's as complex as Total War Center isn't easy. Most people are not going to jump right in and be able to do that. And in fact, if I had to jump right in and be able to do it, it probably would have been a challenge there too. It's something you have to grow into, which is why we have dedicated staff and people that move in and out of these departments.
Oh, look at me and Fuzz. We can wave now because that's kind of our department as well, sort of.
Right. And the content, as far as departments on Total War Center, the content department is probably behind in terms of importance for site activity, by far the most important. Now, you could argue that without tech we wouldn't be here, and there's some legitimacy to that, but tech is not what draws people to Total War Center. I mean, yes, the servers have to be up, but it's content that gets new people and creates new membership. And it's the mods that content are reporting on that draw that. So we've expanded the modding section for other games. We last summer added hosted mods for the Mountain Blade video game series, and we will probably add some other ones. And over the years, I do want to expand all that, which is going to mean more servers, and that's the long-term goal is to have as much activity as we can physically support on our hardware, and that's why we will continue to expand hardware.
Okay, so basically your long-term, you finally answered your question, which was any personal aims for TWC in the future, as first asked, and that was actually expanding with several more servers when traffic increases and such.
Yes.
Which is also one of my wishes as well. TWC has a very special site. We have a special word in Norway called dugnad, which is basically mean dugnad, which means community work. Yeah, free work made for the community. And I think that word actually fits beautifully into TWC, and it's really special seen on the internet. So
I would give you a word for work in Irish, but considering we're Irish, we don't work.
Oh, bashing his own people.
Well, I thought your word was going to be eggnog.
See, it's funny because you ask an Irishman that and they have no idea what eggnog is. Well, I can't speak for the majority of us.
Eggnog, isn't that some kind of egg drink stuff?
It's a Christmas drink.
It's like egg, milk, and bourbon.
Is it? Yeah, there's liquor in it?
Most of the time, yes.
Okay, good. Then it goes down the hatch, no matter what. That sounds so wrong. I'm sorry. But...
you can edit that part out.
Nah, they've gotten used to it by now. It doesn't matter. But at least I want to thank everybody for listening. I want to thank GED for actually joining us. It's one of the interviews that I've set off for the purple year of the season 3 of Warcast, which was very important to get done. And this is a 10-year anniversary podcast. So I want to thank you.
And actually, I want to thank you guys for all the stuff that you do on Total War Center, because without... I mean, let's face it, I own the site and I can manage all the servers and do all the crap that I want to, but without stuff like this, it's just another website. So, sincerely, thank you guys.
You're melting our hearts there. Yeah, me and Fuzz were like, oh my god.
So I'll kick you in the ass tomorrow, okay?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't expect nothing less from you. But at least this was us, me and Fuzz, reporting from the Total Warcast crew. We've been talking to GED, and I want to thank everyone for listening. So I hope you enjoy your day, evening, or week, or year, or however when you're listening to this. And we will see you soon.
Bye.
Good night.